Welcome to Farm Connections with your host, Dan Hoffman.
We're at the 29th Annual Hay and Forage Expo near Cannon Falls, Minnesota. And with us to talk a little bit about this show is Dina Morgan from Farm Progress. Dina, this is a great show. What's happening out here?
Yes, we are very excited to be here near Cannon Falls. It's been a great show today. The best thing I love about the Hay and Forage Expo is that there's lots of demonstrations that you can see, but there's also a really great exhibit field. So not only can you see the equipment working in action out in the fields, but then you can go talk to those exhibitors and learn more about their equipment and what they have to offer.
How many different exhibitors are here?
Today we have about 75 to 80 exhibitors that are showing off their products and services.
And how many live demos?
Live demos, we have mowing in the morning and then chopping, and then we take a break over the noon hour and finish up the day with raking, baling, and hay handling.
Do you have some custom operators come to the show?
Absolutely. Our target market is anybody who is going to produce or use hay. So that includes your dairy farmers, your custom harvesters or your custom hay producers, your beef farmers, and even your horse and small animal that would use hay certainly come to this event.
What's the importance of having farmers, vendors, and everyone come together in one spot?
The best thing about this show is that it has a lot of demonstrations. So yes, you can go to a dealership or you can go to a static show and look at a piece of equipment, but being able to see it actually working in field conditions, I think makes a big difference. So you can make an informed decision. And not only can you see one brand, but then you can see all the competitors too. You can see how it goes in the field, then you can go to the lot and talk to those exhibitors and find out more about their equipment. So it's really a good thing not only for our exhibitors who are showcasing their products and services, but also for the farmers. Maybe a local farmer doesn't want to go to the John Deere dealer because he has case equipment. Well, here he can see it and go talk to them and not feel like he's going to somebody new. So he can make a more informed decision and make sure that he's buying the equipment that's best for his fields and his conditions and what he wants to do.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Dina, for your time.
Thank you.
I'm with Mark Hernke, the host at the Hay and Forage Expo near Cannon Falls, Minnesota. Mark, thanks for having us.
You bet. Thank you for coming.
Well, you've got a nice farm here. Tell us what's happening.
So behind us, you'll see a alfalfa field that we're going to be working. We're going to be cutting, mowing, raking, merging, round baling, and chopping. And what they want to do is everybody wants to preview their machines out here, and to show everybody what their new machines can do.
Well, you mentioned the forage or the alfalfa behind us. I'm looking at this saying, wow, there's a lot of moisture in it. It's when I crimple it, it stays together, meaning there's a lot in it and I can feel it in my hands. Doesn't this go into a barn up in a haymow?
What we're doing is we'll be either chopping it wet and then piling it and covering it, or we'll be wrapping it in plastic, and that will seal out all the air, and therefore it can go through its fermentation underneath the plastic. So we do not have to wait the 5 to 7 days we need to make it into dry hay.
And why is that important to you as a dairy producer?
If we can make hay in 24 hours, that way we get a perfect, uniform material, and therefore if we can feed a uniform material to our cattle, it'll cut down our feed costs and increase our milk.
So if the leaves are really what you're after too, to hold that protein?
Yes, the leaves are was where all the protein is at, and for a ruminant animal like a dairy cow, that's a very important factor in her diet.
And I noticed it looks like you're about 1/10 bloom or so. Was that your goal?
Our goal is pre-bud, and so this is a 28. We cut on a 28-day schedule. This just happens to be a 32-day cutting schedule, so there's a little bit older than what we'd like.
Did the weather impact you on that?
A little bit. When we cut first crop, then we had a window of opportunity, and we wanted to make sure we got this field done for the show, so we get a good regrowth for the show.
You talked about the quality being so important for you getting milk production and probably cutting down on veterinarian costs. What other things happen if you get poor quality hay or don't get it up in time and it goes out of condition for you?
Right. If we have hay down and we get rained on, the quality is going to go down. There's not as much nutrients in the alfalfa, so we'll have to supplement that. And if it sits too long in the field, one of the other things that'll happen is it'll stunt the growth for the next crop next month.
Kind of like when someone mows the lawn and leaves a big brown thatch.
Right. It's hard to get rid of it, and it holds that grass back. And we want to get it as green and growing as fast as we can.
Well, you've been very generous in letting people come to your farm, exhibitors and the show itself and other farmers. Why do you do that?
For us, it's more of for the community and the farmers then that are around, because this show will rotate from Iowa and Wisconsin, and so we thought if we could host it, we could have more people here and put on a really good show for them, so they don't have to drive as far.
What makes you happiest seeing this expo on your farm?
The kids, as they leave, the kids always have a smile on their face, and talking with the adults, if they were able to meet somebody at a booth, maybe to learn something, to pick something new up that they can take back to their farm and make that better, that's our goal.
Nice. And I would like to say thank you to all the dairy farmers for the ice cream, milk, and other dairy products. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us as we explore more of the Hay and Forage Expo. We're still at the Hay and Forage Expo in Cannon Falls, Minnesota, and with me is Cole Carling of Case IH. Cole, welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
Well, tell the audience in Farm Connections what's happening up here at Cannon Falls at the Hay and Ag Expo.
So here at the Hay and Forage Expo today, what we've been doing is a lot of different manufacturers have come set up some booths here at the lots. And it's an opportunity for prospective customers and current customers to come look at the new technology, look at the new machines, see what we're out promoting, and then also see the demos we're doing out in the field.
Cole, what makes your technology special?
Well, there's a lot of different things Case IH is involved in when it comes to technology. One of the big ones we have going on today is auto guidance. We're using auto guidance in our tractors, our combines, our sprayers, and now in our windrowers. So now as an operator, instead of you sitting in the machine and stressing out as you drive it 10 hours a day cutting hay, you have the ability to set your auto guidance, set an A-B line. You can make perfect 16-foot or 15.5-foot swaths. You can sit in the cab, hit start, and listen to the radio, check out how your machine's doing, and it makes your job as an operator a lot easier.
Well, Cole, in the past when we wanted to monitor moisture, we would either go out and do a crumple test or take the forage to a remote site or have a remote or bring an instrument with us and check the moisture. You said do it on the fly. How do you do that?
Well, here's what we have. With our balers now, our large square balers, we have the ability to put an RFID chip directly on the bale. Here's an example of what it is. So what happens is you run that baler, it's going to read what the moisture level is of the bale, it's going to read the time that the bale was made, the date, all that information, it's going to load it onto that chip. That chip is then wrapped around the bale on the string and it's dropped in the field. As the operator comes by and picks up the bales, he has this sensor that will read that information, it keeps track of it. As he puts it in the stack at his yard, it's going to sit there. Then as he ships that hay out to his customer, whether they're selling it to a dairy or he's feeding it to his own cows, he can read it off the loader with this sensor and he can tell what bales he is feeding to his animals. This is going to tell you the relative feed value of the hay. It's going to tell you, like I said, the moisture level, the date that it was done baled, the time, the field. It's going to put all that information in there. Another advantage it's going to have for you as an operator is if you have different quality of hay. If some of it was rained on and you bale it with this, or if you have a young crop over here that you bale, you have the ability to keep track of those bales, and as you unload them off the truck, you can stack them and sort them according to the quality of feed. Then when you're feeding your cows, you have the ability to know how you want to mix your rations to maximize the milk output of those animals.
Thank you, Cole.
Thank you, Dan.
Great information. Thanks for joining us today. We've learned a great deal about growing food for livestock and ourselves as we've traveled around southern Minnesota. We're fortunate to have such a diverse agriculture community. I'm your host, Dan Hoffman. I hope you'll join me again on another episode of Farm Connections.